Unmasking drug price deception data breaches. Hidden truths behind drug pricing. What transparency really looks like. Get ready for a reality check. What most of us think of as drug price transparency often turns out to be anything but transparent. The conversation is a lot more complex and controversial than flashy headlines suggest. Here's where the plot thickens. In 2017, as soon as President Trump took office, the pharmaceutical industry was squarely in the crosshairs. Trump didn't mince words then, accusing drug makers of getting away with murder when it came to the prices we all pay for life-saving medications. His remarks sent shockwaves through the industry, which was suddenly forced to reckon with growing public outrage and urgent calls for change. But are things really changing? That's the million-dollar question. Drug companies responded by touting new price transparency initiatives. But many health policy experts argue that these efforts are more about optics than real reform. For example, some companies began releasing carefully selected price lists or offering online tools that claim to show what patients might pay. However, critics quickly pointed out that most of these tools are riddled with fine print, limited data, and confusing terms, making it nearly impossible for everyday Americans to truly understand what they'll pay at the pharmacy counter, or why prices are so high in the first place. And this is the part most people miss. True price transparency means more than just posting numbers online. It requires clear, accessible information about rebates, insurance contracts, and middlemen, like pharmacy benefit managers, all of which can dramatically affect final costs for consumers. Without this level of openness, are we really any closer to fixing the system? You might be surprised to learn that major companies like UnitedHealth have faced criticism for their handling of sensitive health data as well. Data breaches, some of which go underreported, raise additional concerns about how much power these companies wield and at whose expense. But here's where the debate heats up. Is the current wave of transparency efforts just a smokescreen designed to keep regulators at bay? Or could these small moves eventually lead to genuine change in how drugs are priced and paid for in America? Some policy watchers argue that unless the real cost drivers are exposed, little will improve for patients grappling with sky-high costs. Now we want to hear from you. Do you believe drug companies are genuinely working toward greater transparency? Or is it mostly a PR gain? Should the government step in and force more meaningful disclosures, even if it means shaking up the status quo? Share your thoughts below. Agree or disagree, your opinion matters in this ongoing conversation.